The hospital hallway was silent except for the faint hum of fluorescent lights and the soft, trembling notes of a violin. The sound was haunting, fragile, yet full of hope, echoing through the sterile corridors like a prayer wrapped in music. Daniel Reeves stood outside the pediatric surgery ward, his hands shaking as he played. Each note carried the weight of his heart, every vibration trembling with the fear of losing the only family he had left, his little girl, Emily. He wasn't playing for applause. He was playing for courage, for her, for himself. If you believe in kindness, in the power of love and music, please take a moment to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Stories like this remind us that even in the darkest moments, the human heart can create miracles. Daniel had been a musician once, a street performer who dreamed of filling concert halls. But after his wife passed away and Emily was diagnosed with a congenital heart defect, dreams became a luxury. He sold his violin once, then bought it back years later from a pawn shop when he couldn't bear to live without it. Now he played outside subway stations and city corners, earning just enough to pay rent and buy medicine. Every dollar, every song, every sleepless night, all for Emily. When the doctors told him Emily needed surgery, Daniel nearly broke. The operation would cost more than he could make in a year, but he refused to give up. He organized small performances in parks, at bus stops, outside cafes. People dropped coins, sometimes bills, sometimes just smiles. But the night before the surgery, he had only raised half the amount. He begged the hospital to let the operation go on, promising he'd pay the rest somehow. They agreed, out of mercy more than logic. So now, as Emily lay under anesthesia, Daniel stood in the hallway, playing the melody that had once made her laugh, the one she called Daddy's Happy Song. But what Daniel didn't know was that someone was listening. At the far end of the corridor stood a tall woman in a charcoal suit, her expression unreadable. Her name was Victoria Langford, billionaire CEO of Langford Enterprises, one of the most powerful women in the city. She had come to the hospital quietly that morning to visit a research wing her foundation had funded. But when she heard the violin, she stopped. The sound drew her like a memory, something she hadn't felt in years. She followed the music until she saw him, a tired, disheveled man playing with closed eyes and tear-streaked cheeks. His heart poured into every note. For reasons she couldn't explain, she stayed. The music was pure, not polished or professional, but honest. It was the kind of beauty that stripped away pretense. When the last note faded, she found herself blinking away tears. The man lowered the violin and leaned against the wall, his breath unsteady. He looked like someone carrying the world on his shoulders. Victoria approached quietly. "That was beautiful," she said softly. Daniel startled, embarrassed. "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to disturb anyone." "You didn't," she said, her tone gentle. "Who were you playing for?" He hesitated. "My daughter," he said simply. "She's in surgery right now. It helps to play." She could see the exhaustion in his eyes, the raw sincerity. "I hope she'll be okay," she said. Daniel nodded faintly. "She has to be," he whispered. "She's all I've got." Something in his voice stayed with her. Victoria left soon after, but she couldn't shake the sound of that violin or the quiet strength in his words. Later that day, she made a few calls, to the hospital board, to the billing department, to someone she trusted deeply. And then she waited. When Emily woke up 2 days later, Daniel was sitting by her bedside, holding her tiny hand. The surgery had gone well, a miracle, the doctors said. Daniel smiled for the first time in months, though worry still lingered in his eyes. He had no idea how he would pay the remaining balance. As he went to the billing office, his stomach turned with dread. But when he asked about his account, the receptionist looked puzzled. "Mr. Reeves," she said, "your balance is 0. He blinked. "There must be a mistake." She shook her head. "Someone already paid, in full." Daniel stood there frozen. "Who?" he asked. "They requested to stay anonymous," she replied with a smile. "But they left a note." She handed him a small envelope sealed with gold embossing. Inside was a handwritten card. For Emily's happy song to never stop playing, VL. Daniel didn't recognize the initials, but the meaning hit him hard. He pressed the card to his chest and wept. Somewhere out there, someone had saved his daughter's life. Weeks passed. Emily recovered faster than anyone expected. Daniel started performing again, his music lighter now, filled with gratitude. One sunny afternoon, while playing at the city park, he noticed a familiar face in the crowd. Victoria Langford, dressed simply this time, no bodyguards, no photographers. She clapped as the song ended, smiling softly. Daniel approached, bowing slightly. "I remember you," he said. "At the hospital," she nodded. "And I remember you?" Her gaze flicked to Emily, who was chasing pigeons nearby, laughing. "She looks strong," Victoria said. "She's getting better every day," Daniel replied proudly. "I can never thank whoever helped us enough." Victoria hesitated, then said, "You already did." He looked confused. "That song, the one you played in the hallway." It reminded me of my father. He used to play violin, too. I lost him when I was young, and somewhere along the way, I stopped listening to music. I forgot what it felt like to feel something pure. Her voice wavered. "That day, your song brought it back." Daniel's throat tightened. "Then maybe we helped each other?" Victoria smiled faintly. "Maybe we did." She reached into her bag and handed him a business card. "I run a program that funds musicians and medical care for children. I'd like you to be part of it, not as charity but as a partner. I want people to hear what real hope sounds like." Daniel stared at her, overwhelmed. "I don't know what to say." "Say yes," she said gently. "Say yes and let your music heal others, just like it did for me." And he did. Within months, Daniel's performances became part of a citywide initiative, free concerts at hospitals, schools, and shelters. Every time he played, he told the story of how music saved his daughter and how kindness from a stranger gave them both a second chance. He never revealed Victoria's name, but she often attended quietly in the crowd, her eyes shining with pride. Years later, Emily grew up healthy, inspired by her father's courage and her mysterious benefactor. She learned to play the violin herself, her melodies echoing her father's passion and her mother's grace. And every time she played Daddy's happy song, it carried not just love, but gratitude, legacy, and light. That melody, born from desperation, became a symbol of hope. It played at fundraisers, in hospital halls, even in Victoria's grand headquarters, reminding everyone that no act of kindness, no matter how small, ever goes unheard. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep sharing stories that remind the world how love, music, and compassion can change lives. And before we end, tell us in the comments below, would you give a stranger hope if you had the chance? Because sometimes the softest songs are the ones that heal the loudest wounds.